One state is set to carry out its first two executions in more than a decade. But how two men are set to die is at the center of a last-minute legal battle. Plus, a new investigation into Louisiana state troopers accused of targeting black drivers. Veteran prosecutor NBNC's legal contributor Paul Henderson is here for the legal rundown. All right, Paul, let's start in Louisiana. The Associated Press reports a 7-member panel of Louisiana State Police officials who are investigating some of their own. The review is reportedly focused on Louisiana State Police Troop F. Officers from that unit were caught on video punching, kicking, tasing, and dragging Ronald Greene during a 2019 traffic stop that left him dead, and no one was criminally charged. The panel is reportedly reviewing thousands of body cam videos from the past 2 years involving a dozen of those troopers. The goal is to determine if black drivers are being systematically targeted and abused. Now, Paul, if you ask groups like the ACLU and people who live in the community, they'll tell you that this review is long overdue. But can it be fair when it's cops investigating cops?
Well, we've had cops investigating cops since we've had policing. And obviously the conversations that we're having today are proof and confirmation that because we have disparities in policing, that system is not enough. We know what the best practices are, and you can find them codified in the 21st century policing that we had under the Obama administration and the Justice Department that indicates that you need external civilian oversight in order to review these cops. And this case in particular is proof of that, especially because we're talking about an incident that took place years ago that was hidden by the police. And so the systems have failed to review that behavior and interrupt that behavior. My concern, even though now we have this secret panel at a state level, is one, why is it secret? And then two, why is it still the police reinvestigating the police? This needs to be outside review. This case really just is proof of exactly why we have to address police reform in a broader way. With this same department, the federal government is investigating civil rights practices that have gone wrong, looking for pattern and practices evaluations for what's going on in that department. But to me, the real issue when we're talking about what happened to Ronald Greene, what happened in Louisiana, is what's happening at a local level. How is this allowed to continue for so long with no one saying anything? And keep in mind, the report that was given from that jurisdiction was that he was killed in a car accident, and that was just a lie that was proven by everyone that saw the body-worn camera, everyone that read or saw the tweets confirming and the messages back and forth from those officers to each other, laughing about this incident, talking about how badly they beat him, which flies in the face to their official public line, which was, this didn't happen. And now it's years later and we're talking about it, and that's a real problem. The issue that we all need to focus on is what happens to those officers that signed off on that false report. Keep in mind, it's a misdemeanor to file a false report for anyone else. What happens to the officers that file false reports that turn it in? They should be looking at local perjury charges from that local prosecution. We have to look at the big picture of why officers have gotten a pass for bad behavior like this, because this is what institutionalizes and creates the systematic oppression and race disparities that we have in policing. This is exactly the kind of case that we need to be talking more about as proof that internal guidelines do not work for policing police. That's just that.
Well, I believe one of the officers was actually punished with a certain amount of hours. I think 50 hours of without pay, a suspension. So, yeah, it flies in the face when you're talking about having the secret review when the entire Ronald Greene case was covered in secrecy. So it makes no sense to me there. All right, so this review is said to be centered on the Greene case and 3 other violent stops of black men. But a New Orleans watchdog group made the point that it's naive to think that this is just limited to 2 or 3 cases. It's a systemic problem. So what should this review panel be looking for, and how wide-ranging should this investigation really be?
I think it should be looking at everything. And by the way, we didn't articulate it, but it goes without saying, and I think we do need to talk about it, that the 3 other men that they are examining were all violent stops and all African-American unarmed men. And by violent, I mean that encountered violence from the police department. And that is really what's at the heart of all of this. And so, what they need to be looking for are objective and independent standards and measurements affirming a different version than what the officer said happened. And again, this takes us back to what are the consequences for those officers that lied in the first place, that perpetuated this transgression, that perpetuated an injustice to those communities, to those families, to the African Americans that have suffered as consequences from this illegal and horrible behavior, and the other officers that allowed it to happen, that allowed those reports to be turned in, and that put those lies out to the family, to the community, saying that this isn't what happened. And now that we see these leaks, we see this is exactly what happened. So the steps that are taking place right now are reviews of body-worn cameras, like we're seeing right now, and there'll be thousands and thousands of hours to be watched and reviewed. But that's just what needs to happen, because we cannot rely on what the officers told us, at least in those 4 incidents. And I would beg to presume that there are many more to follow that will be uncovered at the state level and at the national federal level that they're reviewing as well. I think more is going to be coming out of this jurisdiction, and that's a problem that is symptomatic and reflective of problems that we see in the rest of the country that need to take place as well and need to be reviewed as well.
All right, Paul, let's turn to South Carolina. Over the next 2 weeks, the state is expected to carry out its first 2 executions in more than 10 years. And a fight to stop it just took another hit. Brad Sigmund, right there on the left, was convicted of killing his ex-girlfriend's parents back in 2002. Freddie Owens on the right was convicted of killing a gas station clerk in 1997. Now, both have filed multiple appeals with state and federal courts. Most recently, a federal judge denied the men a stay. Now, at issue is how these men are set to be put to death. The state says it can't get a hold of any of the drugs required to carry out executions by lethal injection, which means they would be executed by an electric chair. Now, lawyers for the men set to die say the electric chair violates the 8th Amendment against cruel and unusual punishment. Now, Paul, the lower courts have declined to stay the executions. Do the men have a case that the electric chair violates the 8th Amendment?
Well, they've made the argument. I don't think they have a case, and I think the judges have ruled, and the basis of their ruling has been that all of the other previous challenges to the electric chair being unconstitutional for being cruel and unusual have not ever been granted in the past. And so there's no precedent for that argument being granted, and that's why the court is approving for the death penalty to move forward. And that's less than a month away. Both of those individuals are scheduled to be killed by the end of the month. I think what's really interesting here in this state in particular, because this is a state that still does have the death penalty, although they have not conducted any of the death penalty executions in over 10 years. And so they are trying to catch up now with this green light, and these 2 will be the first. I think what's important to note is that there are still 37 other people that are still waiting for death penalty in that state as well. By the way, all of those are men. I would be remiss, Yodit, if I didn't raise the issue of race disparities. Now, we saw a white individual and a black individual are the 2 plaintiffs in this case, but we know if we take a step back in talking about the death penalty, that nationally, 42% of every single person on death row is an African American. And I think while we're having the conversation about reforming police, we have to look at the bigger picture and talk about the bias in our criminal justice system that starts with police departments, but also covers prosecution, bias in juries, and bias in judges that allow us to have this disproportionate effect and disproportionate sentencing of death penalty for communities of color. This is all wrapped into what's going on in South Carolina. And like I said, this is reflective of the nation's challenges as a whole. And I think something that needs to be at the forefront of the conversation, especially right now, because the current administration has said that they want to address death penalty and they want to take action on death penalty. But so far, we haven't seen it, and I don't think that we'll have federal action before something takes place by the end of June for these 2 plaintiffs that I don't believe are going to have an appeal process based on my analysis of the law and the challenges that they're making for this case, for these cases individually in South Carolina.
Paul, give me your quick thoughts on the governor there in South Carolina who recently signed into law a bill that would allow people to choose how to die. For example, a firing squad. That's not an option here because the law was just signed, but I just wanted your reaction on that.
I don't know. I mean, I think it doesn't change the underlying issues of what's more important of addressing the death penalty in and of itself. The methods of the death penalty, I think, is arguing in the weeds, and the bigger picture and the better focus as a nation is whether or not there are race disparities in the death penalty, and making that a priority. Because until we address that, I think the rest of it is just, it's not as important. I mean, there's so many different ways in so many different states, and they've all come under attack, but they've come under attack as a means to get to the bigger picture of trying to undermine and decouple and unpack the challenges that people have with the death penalty in the first place. And so allowing people to choose, it is a distinction without a difference, because the same thing ends up happening. And that's just the truth. That's the problem. Was that
Veteran
fast?
prosecutor and BHG's legal contributor, Paul Henderson.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thanks
Paul.
for having me.